In Colorado Springs, one former executive chef is disrupting traditional networking by paying people for their business referrals, and it's taking off fast. Want to know how? Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Sandy Boble Zuniga, the founder of Colorado Springs Town Tidings. Be in the know on the go for all things Colorado Springs, delivered right to your inbox. Today, I'm diving into the innovative world of NIAX Colorado Springs with local owner Brian Blesnick, who's transforming how local businesses connect and grow in our community. Brian, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you. So let's start at the beginning. Before the business and your culinary career, which we'll get into, what is your personal history with Colorado Springs? Are you a native? Who are you?
I am not a native. I'm actually a SoCal native, like too many people have heard. But I have been here a little over 20 years now, so I've definitely ingrained myself into the Colorado Springs nature and the way of life here, and just fell in love with the place the second my plane hit the ground. So I'm here for the long haul.
I hear you. I'm a transplant as well, and kind of the same thing. So, what brought you to Colorado Springs?
Uh, to be honest, the cost of living of Southern California,
Me too. I mean, the
being a
cost of
young
living
man there. Oof.
of Colorado Springs. I'm not from California, but when I looked into other places to live, it brought me to Colorado Springs because and I've been here 20 a little over 20 years as well. So you and I were probably looking at the same demographics and cost of living and all that kind of stuff at the same time.
Right? How crazy.
So it was that and what else? It can't be just that.
So it was primarily that. I had a relationship at the time, which is no longer a thing, which tends to happen after a stressful thing like this, where she had an offer here and we were struggling in Southern California due to costs and just the way of life there, and it made a lot of sense. And so I came here, I fell in love with the place. We did visit a month prior to moving here just to, check it out and make sure. And it's an amazing place to be.
Yes, absolutely. So, like you said, as the plane hit the ground, the tires, not the plane itself.
Yeah.
You you were like, that's it. And obviously you stayed here the whole time. So what was your first job when you got here and did that follow you for a while?
So literally day one moving in, I walked down the street to get some lunch and left with a job in the kitchen. Day one.
And all you
Never had
wanted was
another
lunch.
choice. As that happens in Colorado Springs, especially in the kitchen life, you find someone who has any talent, and you're like, "Come on in. I'll teach you whatever you want to know."
Exactly. So, do you remember what your lunch was that day?
So I'm pretty sure it was some sort of like a turkey cheese sandwich. It was at a deli and catering place on Colorado Avenue that's no longer there.
Okay. I just had to ask, because sometimes those defining moments, it's like, oh, I remember exactly where I was, exactly what I had. So at that point, you were in the kitchen and you
Mhm.
spent basically, as far as I know, 2 decades as an executive chef here in town. How did feeding this community shape your perspective on local business in general?
So my philosophy was always find the local people and give them some love, whether it was a local ingredient, a local baker, or even someone who was just selling supplies to restaurant who was based here locally. That was my job, is to find them and to help them and to come along with me on my journey in the culinary world and hopefully get them a little bit of business because people liked what I did.
Right. And then you took the your culinary career in a couple of different ways, I think, at the time, right?
Yeah, so I kind of went all over the place in the city, did the Broadmoor thing like most locals do a little bit,
Yeah.
really earned my chops there. I was a mentor for Woodland Park for their culinary program there. I also taught at PCC, and because I didn't have enough to do as a chef, you know.
Of course.
So really, really, I was getting engaged in all aspects of the community through my work in the kitchen.
Got it. And you were able to touch lives in different ways. And so when you were making the dishes,
Hmm.
what what was your primary thought when you were cooking it and then putting the plates together and knowing it was going to arrive at a table?
The whole slow food movement had a big impact and kind of what drove me. And so I was very seasonal. I was very thoughtful of that, and I was very local. And then just letting the ingredients drive what the menu turned into was very important. You know, a lot of people can serve a burger. I went and found a local plant that did bison burgers and served those instead. You know,
Right.
I did lamb and bison instead of the traditional beef just because it felt more Colorado to me.
Right, exactly. And always just trying to be a little bit different, but then also that was a supplier that didn't maybe not have as many opportunities, and now you just gave them a new one because you
Right?
decided to take it on.
Yep, and that's really, really what I loved is helping the community through my works, and it just kind of carried on naturally for me.
Right. And then also, you and I have talked before. I think there was something about plating that took things to another level, that you were very thoughtful on that, on how something might present itself
Mhm.
when it's in front of you.
Well, yeah, I mean, we as humans, we eat and we judge with our eyes first. And so putting all that thought into making it look good first. I mean, I already knew it tasted good. That
Right.
was mission one was already done. But if it didn't look good when it landed in front of someone, they automatically, whether they wanted to or not, have a different thought of how that dish is going to taste.
Exactly. So, because I knew that about you, and then kind of like uh, bringing it into basically business in general, people in general, in the community in general, there's something about using our eyes to judge people in general, on creating our own story on their circumstances, who they are, and all of that because of how they present themselves or what they look like. And I don't know if you want to talk about that. It was just a subject we talked about. I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of has carried over from the kitchen. You can tell the people that want to show up and they want to put their best foot forward. And those people, just by naturally giving more energy into that little thought process, you can tell a lot about them just from that. If they're going to put that effort, if they're going to follow through, they've already shown you a little bit about that within just their first 90 seconds of appearance.
Right, right. Okay. So let's turn the corner. And I'm just curious on what was the spark or turning point that made you hang up your apron and decide to bring, is it NIAX or do you say it differently?
It is NIAX is the easiest way to say it. It
Okay,
is Network and Action Exchange, which is a big mouthful.
right. So, and I just wanted to make sure I was saying that right. So, what made you bring that networking model to Colorado Springs? And then we'll talk a little bit about the model.
Yeah, so that story really started in 2020, and it's not because of COVID like most people think. We had our daughter, and that was a big turning point. It changed both my wife and I's trajectory just because it was more than just a couple of people living in the same household doing their things work wise and existing. Now we have to bring more structure, more support, and give more attention to this little life we just created. And so when we did that, And then things started changing a little bit that exact moment because I started work and opened up. I was the opening executive chef of Kinship Landing at the time, and I had to follow through with that. And so the first couple years of my daughter's life, most of it I saw her through just like this, a video call.
Right.
And the wife bringing her by the hotel, because I got to say, like that first 30, 40 days, I didn't take a single day off. And I
Wow.
was in before she was awake. I was home after she was asleep. And that's just not the relationship I wanted to have with my child. And so we had a nanny because we were both still working. And a couple years in, we all had a discussion. The nanny was ready to move to an area closer to her family. I was ready to have a better relationship with my child, and so we decided it was time for me to take that house spouse role and do that for a few years until she started school.
Okay. That makes perfect sense. And so with NIAX, that allows you now the freedom to be with her and spend the time that you want, as well as make a living.
Yeah, absolutely. So owning your own business, it's a lot, absolutely. But at the same time, I'm the writer of my schedule.
Yep.
My day starts after I've dropped her off from school. My day ends when I go pick her up, and I get all my stuff done on the in between.
Right. That's kind of the dream. And then, you know, having somebody who can actually execute that, that is great. So there's a few things. For those who are used to traditional handshake networking, which I believe, I know your wife does
Mhm.
NIA networking, which I
Yep.
think is more similar to the traditional, right?
It is a lot more similar to the traditional way of
Okay.
things, um, but more structured and more intentional. So there's not a weekly meeting, it's a once a month mandatory meeting on her side. And you don't have to pass a referral and bring a guest every single time. It's 12 referrals make 11 of those 12 meetings, and hers comes with an ROI guarantee that if you show up, you put in the work, you're going to get your money back and some.
Okay. So that's her part, and she does that pretty
Mhm.
much independently from your NIAX program, right? Or platform.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah, because we're building two very different models, but we still at our core offer the same things. And so, really, having that franchise backing helps us in that way. But yeah, when it comes to building our groups, we kind of take a separate approach in that.
Right. So in your household, you
Mhm.
are all just networking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Connecting people. Well, she spent 15 years as a recruiter for Fortune 500 companies. So
Oh, okay.
connecting people is always what she did. Now she's brought that skill that she's developed to our community to help locally.
Right. And so what made her decide to take that model instead of the NIAX?
So she likes that people to people, that business relationship, those same things, where she can have an impact with the owners. That's what she's always liked to do. Whereas I was more of that community resource. Who can I find and who can I make aware of their existence?
That makes perfect sense as well, where you really take your strengths, and it's really great that there's a model out there for both of you to thrive.
Hmm. Yeah, so that's kind of a funny story. When we were exploring this and we purchased in June of last year, um, I wasn't interested. It
Ah,
was just the traditional thing that was being offered. I was like, okay, I'll run support while I figure my next thing out. And the funniest thing happened. Fate just collided with me. The day my kids started kindergarten, the company announced this new community-based referral model. And that was when I was like, okay, now you're speaking my language. I'm in.
Right. Wow. That they do say something about divine intervention, and that seems like that's exactly what happened with you.
Yeah, it was so much coincidence. I just couldn't ignore it.
Okay, so we pretty much established the more traditional-ish
Mhm.
NIA. So how exactly does the NIAX platform work, and how do people actually get paid for referrals, but also how do they give them? Give me a sense of the beginning part, not just the paid, and we'll definitely get there, but
Yeah,
it's more to it. It's not just about a payment. It is
correct.
more, a lot more, and it's still building the community, still building the relationships. It's not
Mhm.
just a paycheck. That's just an added benefit because you're doing it anyway.
Correct. So this whole model is really kind of a tri-headed Cerberus, essentially. So on one hand, I have charities that I business partner with so I can raise funds for them. Then I have my community affiliates who my charities have encouraged their supporters to sign up to be. This is my free group, just members of the community. Anyone can go and download my app and sign up for free. And then they're supplying my members who come to my meetings. They're much more like a traditional group. They still do the B2B back and forth, but they have this additional resource pool of the community supplying warm leads to them. And then when those warm leads close in business, these members, the vendors, the business owners, have agreed to share a percentage of any closed business with the person who referred it, whether it's a business, whether it's a member of the community, they'll still share the same percentage. And if that charity had signed up that person, they automatically get 10% of any of those commissions that are passed to them.
Okay. So that's a lot of
I
spokes
know.
going on. So kind of visually break it down. And do you have to be a business owner to sign up for your referral program?
To receive the referrals, yes, you have to offer a service that you get paid for because otherwise you can't agree to the commission sharing, the
Right,
revenue
but
sharing part.
what about if I have a need and I just
Mhm.
maybe I'm not a business owner, but I have a need and there is there's uh a referral that I want to give and possibly make some money, can I
Oh
do
yeah,
that as not a business
absolutely.
owner on that side?
Yep. Yep. You would sign up for that free community affiliate side of things, and you get paid for passing referrals to businesses.
Okay,
That is essentially how that works. And it's really easy to sign up. You can go to networkinaction.com and click on the NIAX affiliate tab, sign up under a charity or under myself, and we do partner with Stripe so that monies can get transferred because without a credit card processor, the whole world doesn't work.
right.
And
That's
so you pair your Stripe account with your profile and automatically funds. You can wake up in the morning with an email from Stripe that you have a couple $100 in your account just because you made a connection with a trusted local business.
right. Okay, interesting. So it starts with a business goes ahead and signs up through your link and
Mhm.
then allows you to pick a charity and put in your services so you're available within that whole pool if somebody has a need that might fit what your product or service is. Is that the first
Not,
kind of step?
not quite.
Okay,
So
so correct me.
the people that receive the referrals are the business or book of business entrepreneurs, any of those people that have the service to offer. They join as members of my group. This is a closed group. There is membership fees for that. Those are the people that receive the referrals and give the payouts. Now, to send a referral, you can be anyone. You can be one of those businesses, or you can be a member of the community that has joined as an affiliate.
Okay. So in order to receive referrals, you need to join
Hmm.
your group and
Yep.
be in the ecosystem, basically.
Yep.
And then you're allowed to receive referrals from anyone in the community, any other businesses, anything that is not in the group, but basically they're in the group, you know them, you've vetted them, you're
Yep.
comfortable with them to be referred. And that's kind of why they join the group, is because you want to make sure there's quality resources out there and not
Mhm.
just anybody going ahead and taking a job and you don't know what the experience might be. You don't know them. Is that kind of why they would?
Yeah, 100%. So
Okay.
I interview every single one of my paid members. They go through an interview process. They go through a background check. We do a business assessment with them as well. And because I've met them, I know them, I've seen their work, they have a reputation in the community, they become a trusted partner.
Okay. So that all sounds great, and that is why you would want to become a member. And is there a set fee or is there a sliding scale or anything to be a member?
So my rates right now, there is a one-time $200 setup fee. That's what covers that background check, that business assessment. It also covers recording of your profile video and a tutorial of all our offerings because we do have quite a large tech stack that we offer to all our members. Um, and right now it's 119 per month or 1200 for the year for membership.
Okay. And are they required to attend certain meetings, to bring people, all this stuff? There, that's always encouraged, but are there requirements?
In my group, no,
Okay.
because I'm built for those busy professionals who are just looking to tie better into their community and think of it as a different kind of Angie's List, right? You
Right.
pay Angie's List to be listed, but I'm not making you fight 15 other businesses to be the first phone call to get the business. This is someone that's being warmly introduced to you because they recognize you're offering a valuable service. You're not having to fight all the other people and throw elbows.
Right. There you go. And do you have exclusivity, or do you have multiple people in the same industry offering the same things? So it's kind of a pull once somebody does refer, or is it just one?
I limit it to a maximum of three per industry,
Okay.
just so it doesn't get too crazy. But at
Right.
the same time, I want this to build large enough that exclusivity won't really allow that.
Right. Exactly. And the fact that not every business, so if you only had one in exclusivity, that business may not be able to fulfill what that
Right.
request is. And so I think having at least three there, and it's different than, they're really not competing. It's here's something out there, whoever can get to it first and gives the best whatever the receiver needs, whether
Yeah.
it's quality of price, timing, all that stuff.
Mhm.
They at least could have possibly three different bids, and then they can choose that. If you only limited it to one, then you would be doing a disservice to those who are referring or asking for the referrals, because if it can't be fulfilled, now you that didn't help the community.
Yeah, that's exactly the way I was looking at it. Because imagine hail season's coming through. I have three roofers, not one. Because
Right.
you're going to need more than just that one guy
Yes.
fulfilling all these different houses. It's just not a possibility.
Right.
So at least with the three, they're not feeling crowded, where they're fighting with everyone else for these referrals, but also they have the availability to be able to fulfill more orders.
Right. Exactly. So that is a really good model, I think, and that serves everybody from the business owners to the community, to those needing a referral, and also coming to your platform. Now they know that you've vetted people there. How many horror stories have we heard on the news and things that say,
Yep.
especially contractors come in
Hmm.
and they pay $20,000 because they wanted the money up front, or that's half or whatever, and they go to, they're supposed to build a fence or concrete or whatever roof,
Right.
and then they skip town, or they and these people are out of money, and then they go to the news to try and get attention and everything. You pretty much are taking that risk out because you've
Hmm.
vetted the people already,
Yeah.
and so that those people won't wind up on the news.
Yeah, yeah, that's the goal. Google won't do that for you.
Yeah.
Angie's List will let anyone on there that pays. And, sometimes, not often, but sometimes those scenarios come up. And if I can just give someone a little peace of mind, because it's my reputation on the line as well. This is my
Yes.
business. I am selecting these companies saying these are a trusted partner, and I want to make sure that I'm right 100% of the time.
Yes. And thank you for your for that, providing that service. We've got people in the community that are busy, they have their lives, they might have a 9 to 5, they might have a sick parent or child at home,
Mhm.
and they're doing all kinds of things. And so and then they have needs. So cutting down the having to research part and taking all that time is really a big service for the community, in my opinion.
Well, awesome. Yeah, that's a great way to put it because I hadn't thought about it on that outside way because, entrepreneurs, I'm stuck in my little bubble,
Exactly.
always right about what I'm doing.
Well, see, that's why you got me. I think of
Exactly.
all of these things. This crazy
Because yeah,
brain will go all kinds of ways and perspectives. So I'm glad that
I'm
helped.
I am finding those local trusted people. They live here. They breathe our same great mountain air. They're putting their dollars back into our economy just like we are. And I always have that saying, a rising tide rises all ships. And that's what I'm here to do.
Yep, I love that saying. So on that aspect, a unique part of your local chapter is the ability to donate those referral commissions
Mhm.
if you want to. I don't know if you can split it or not, but straight to local 501(c)s. And why was building that charitable bridge so important to you?
Because it's just another way to give back. All these, we have so many charities and so much needs and so many people that need help. If I have a platform where I can provide some service to these, I'm going to. It's just who I am. I'm going to help that person. Even as an executive chef, I saw struggling cooks. I help them. I'll give them a ride, no charge. I don't care. I had a kid who was sad because his roommate left and took his Xbox, which is the only thing he did when he was home because couldn't really afford to do much else. And I heard about that and I gave him mine. I mean, it's just,
Aw.
you take care of the people that take care of you. And this community has taken care of me for 20 plus years. And I'm here to give back because I can.
Right, right. Well, how can people find you? I will have links in the article and then other places where I put this out for people. But go ahead and let them know where to find you, what's the best way to find you, and all
You
those.
can visit my website. It's niacoloradosprings.com. I am also on Facebook, NIAX Colorado Springs. I'm on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn, Brian Blesnick. You can find me all over the place. And if you're going to any of these networking events, you might see me there too.
I know you and I wound up at the same networking event. I went to one of your networking events. That it was so neat how these things happen. So you, because of my work and getting it out there, not only in my newsletter, but in social media, different platforms, you connected with me from one of my stories on
Yeah.
LinkedIn. And then we accepted, I accepted the friendship. And then so we were connected. Then you invited me to one of your meetings. It was at
Mhm.
Pizzeria Rustica
Yes.
down in OCC. And I'm I love people, but I'm not very good at networking events. But I'm like, hey, I should go out there. So I said yes. And I was down there, and then you and I talked. I met some other people. Some of the people I spotlighted were also there that I didn't know. So it was great to see them. And then, so the circles, we all
Yeah.
run in similar circles. And then fast forward a couple weeks, I was at a different networking event in the morning, and then out of nowhere, one of those people who was at that one invited the person who invited me to the first networking group to this second thing. So that the first one was at 8:30 in the morning. This one was at 11. And so we scooted from the one to the other. And who was sitting at the table? You were.
There we go.
I'm like, and then I was going to interview you the next day, and I'm like, Brian, this is so crazy.
I'm learning through all this networking the power of the word yes. We're all in
Exactly.
the same room because we said yes. And
Yeah,
we make these connections because we said yes.
yeah,
And it's just putting that effort, getting to know someone next to you, and you never know who they know. You never
yeah,
know what could come from that relationship. And just going in with a positive attitude of this person could be my next friend. This person could be
yeah.
my next client. This person can send me the person who's gonna change my life. I mean, just that's the power of networking and why it's such a driving force in our community.
Yes. And for me, my theme for the year is awakening to all possibilities, which means saying yes to things that I
Hmm.
normally would say no to. So you are so correct. When we say yes, we are open to things that we could not even fathom because we were open to saying yes and participating. Crazy things happen. Good, crazy
Exactly.
things. So, is there anything else that you wanted to touch on that we might not have already that you want
Um,
people to know?
I do have standing meeting. I host every second Wednesday of every month at Pizzeria Rustica at 4 p.m. And that will be as long as the space can hold me. Eventually, I'm going to outgrow it,
Right.
but for as long as I can, I'm going to help that little restaurant be as big as and bad as it can be.
And that was one that you worked at, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I worked with Jay Gust for many years, and let's see, man, that was probably 6, 7 years ago. I was running Pizzeria Rustica and Tapateria simultaneously.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
so,
and
yeah, just
I
building
was
those
there.
relationships.
Yep, I was there, and it's a good place. So if you haven't been there, definitely check it out. It's on Colorado Avenue
Yeah,
on the south side, right?
it's on the corner of 26th in Colorado, the southeast corner.
Right. Yep. Okay, so that I'll make sure that that's in there too. And when you outgrow that place, you will probably still have this standing Wednesday meetings,
Oh, yeah, 100%.
and then just in a different location. So you said that's every second Wednesday of the month?
Second Wednesday of every month. Yep.
Yep. Okay.
And then we host all sorts of other social events as a company as well. Couple weeks ago, we hosted our first business boost, which was a great first launch. We had 40 local businesses there in
Ah,
attendance with four local experts all talking and explaining things that really every entrepreneur needs to know something
right.
about. We
Yep.
wear so many hats. Why not listen to an expert? And if we can provide a free service of just information, what we're all about. So we had a digital marketer, an accountant, a business law, and HR. Who
Okay.
doesn't need these things as a business owner?
Exactly. And that was one I wasn't able to attend, and it sounds like there were more people there anyway.
And then coming up, we have a quarterly event with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Our
Okay.
first one's going to be on St. Patrick's Day in the morning at the Hilton Garden Inn downtown.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you partner with some of these chambers or the other places
Yeah,
for your, okay. Yeah.
yep.
I can't
We're
wait
always
to,
looking for those strategic partnerships because, who better to get your word out than your neighbor?
right, right. So I can't wait to explore more as you grow and more things happen and get that out in the town tidings so other people can know what's going on and maybe attend any of your events. So we'll make
Yeah,
sure to start putting that in the event section. So did we cover pretty much everything
I think we did. Yeah.
for now? Okay, great. Well,
How
Brian,
we doing? Yeah,
what
we
you've
still
built,
got time.
yeah, what you've built here is proof that the best ideas for this city came from people who are genuinely invested in it, and Colorado Springs is so much better for it.
Yeah, I agree.
So, if today's conversation has you thinking differently about how you grow your business, find Brian at niacoloradosprings.com. And if you're ready to experience it firsthand, again, he's at Pizzeria Rustica every second Wednesday of the month. And every business in this city has a story that deserves to be heard. And I love being able to share them with all of you. Subscribe to Colorado Springs Town Tidings at cos.towntidings.com and never miss a story. I'm Sandy Boble Zuniga, celebrating our city one business at a time, and I'll see you next week. Thank you so much, Brian.
Thank you.